Hello, everyone. It is Thursday, January 23rd, 2025. I'm Annika Spalding, the Community Relations Director here at the Amarillo Little Theater. And this is Thursdays at 3, where I go live every single Thursday to get you caught up on what's happening this week at ALT. This season, Thursdays at 3 is generously sponsored by our great friends over at Brick and Elm Magazine, Amarillo's premier lifestyle magazine. Every single issue of Brick and Elm is packed with fantastic articles written by local contributors and will keep you up to speed on all things Amarillo. You can grab their brand new January-February issue on newsstands now, or you can subscribe by heading over to their website at brickandelm.com. Okay, Dial M for Murder opened this past weekend to rave reviews here at the Alan Schenkel's main stage and will begin performances again tonight, Thursday, the 23rd at 7:30 p.m. And we'll go through this Sunday, the 26th, directed by Terri Wilson. And with a cast full of ALT veterans, this show will surely knock your socks off. And let me tell you, it will. I saw it last Thursday. It was fantastic. You can get your tickets by calling our box office at 806-355-9991 or by heading over to our website at amarillolittletheater.org. Make sure to get your tickets to see this new adaptation of the thrilling Hitchcock classic, which we will talk about with director Terri Wilson here in just a little bit. While we're talking about Dial M for Murder, don't forget to check out our Checkout ALT library program. I am obsessed with this program. We have partnered with Pantex, Amarillo Public Library, Canyon Area Library, and Carson County Library to give library card holders access to exciting live theater through our Checkout ALT program. You can check out tickets to see ALT shows just like you would check out books and totally for free. Tickets for Dial M for Murder are currently available for checkout, and a limited number of seats are available for the final performance this Sunday, January 26th at 2:30. You can read about our ticket policies for this program on our social media pages, as well as over on our website at amarillolittletheater.org. Attention volunteers, we are all set. I love when I get to say this. We are all set for ushering in concessions for this entire weekend for Dial M for Murder. So thank you so much. I'm passing on a message from our dear Lissa Guerin. Thank you so much for signing up and filling those slots. We are always so grateful when you guys sign up for slots early so that we don't have to worry about it over the weekend. So thank you to all of you who signed up to usher and do concessions. We will be striking the Dial M for Murder set on Sunday evening beginning at 5:30. So if you plan on joining us, wear your closed-toed shoes and bring your own gloves and drill if you have them. We like to say BYOD, bring your own drill. If you have it, go ahead and bring it and meet us up here at the main stage at 5:30 on Sunday evening. Also, Lissa tells me she will be sending out an email today asking for 4 backstage crew volunteers and 2 spot ops for First Date the Musical. The crew will begin watching next week, and they'll start moving sets for the show beginning next week. So if you're interested in helping out, you can do that by contacting our volunteer coordinator, Lissa Guerin, at the email and at her email address and the phone number that you see on your screen. We would love it if you would help us out with that. I have heard great things about how rehearsals are going for this show. So if you want to be a part of it every single night, being a crew member is a great way to do that. There will also be a build call for First Date this Saturday at 10 a.m. at the Adventure Space. We will need 2 to 3 builders and 5 to 8 painters if you plan on joining us for lunch. Again, make sure to RSVP to Lissa by calling the box office or emailing her at lissa@amarillolittletheater.org. And tickets are currently on sale to ALT members for First Date the Musical, happening at the ALT Adventure Space February 6th through the 16th. Tickets will go on sale to the public beginning next Monday, January 27th at 10 a.m. You can purchase tickets, of course, by calling our box office at 355-9991 or by heading over to our website where you can purchase online. This is really exciting. We have a bunch of add-ons and packages and an exciting event for this show that I want to talk to you about for just a second. So if you want to, you can screenshot this. You can use that QR code that says scan me to get all the information. You can, of course, call our box office as well. And this information is all on our website. We are going to have, Jason was telling me about the set for this show. It's going to be very cool. There are going to be 4 two-top tables that you can purchase. There is limited availability. Again, there are only 4 table packages available per show. So if you want to be a part of this, you're going to have to get in on it early. So this is VIP seating for 2 at a private table. You can enjoy a delicious charcuterie board for 2. 2 drink tokens for specialty cocktails or drinks from the bar. And that's going to be $60 plus the purchase of 2 tickets for the show. And this show does not have an intermission. So all of this will happen. You'll get it all set up and then enjoy it throughout the show. So great. Then we also have a Cupid add-on. So you can add this to, I believe, any ticket purchase. You can add this on, the perfect way to make your date extra special. So especially around Valentine's Day, you can just kind of zhuzh up your date to the theater no matter what night you're coming. So exciting. So you can receive 2 chocolate covered strawberries and a small bottle of Prosecco. You can receive a long stemmed red rose, and that's going to be $30 plus the purchase of 2 tickets to the show. And you must reserve that by Tuesday, February 11th. Okay. Now I may need someone to hop on here and tell me, maybe Raquel, if you're watching, is the Cupid add-on only for Valentine's Day, or is that something that we can add on to any performance? Let's clarify that really quickly, because I don't think I'm clear on that. And we're also going to have a Valentine's Day special. So this is the ultimate romance package. You can get 2 tickets to the February 14th Valentine's Day 8:00 p.m. performance of First Date the Musical. This is going to be VIP seating for 2 at a private table, and you can receive 2 chocolate covered strawberries and a small bottle of Prosecco. You can receive 1 long stemmed red rose for your date, 2 drink tokens for specialty cocktails or drinks from the bar, and you can enjoy a delicious charcuterie board for 2. That's going to be $160, and you must reserve that by Tuesday, February 11th. Woo! That was a mouthful. That was so much. But we've got so many options for you to have a fantastic time at ALT. We love themed events around the shows that we do, and they're always really well done. So if you want to take advantage of that, any of those packages, any of those add-ons, get in early for that, because they are going to fill up really quickly. I just know that they are. And from what I've heard about how well this show is going and how exciting it's going to be and how talented the actors are, you're going to want to get in on that as early as possible. So Raquel, our marketing director, says, I believe the Cupid add-on is just for February 14th. That would make sense, just because you have to commit by February 11th. So yes, the Cupid add-on is going to be, if you come and see the Valentine's show, you can add on that cute little Cupid package to your ticket purchase. So thank you, Raquel, for clarifying that for me. I was not clear on that before. This is another event that I want to talk to you about that we're very, very excited about with First Date. So you can speed date at ALT. We're not going to put pressure on you and do it on Valentine's Day. We're going to do it the day after Valentine's Day. So it's not quite as much pressure. We're going to have a speed dating event in the hour leading up to the show that evening. This is going to be Saturday, February 15th at 6:30 p.m. at the Adventure Space. We are only reserving room for 20 men and 20 women, all 18 and over. And maybe, who knows, maybe a spark will spark. We don't know. You never know. I mean, I found my love at the theater, so maybe you could follow in my footsteps. Could you find the one? It's possible. It's happened before. Join us for a night of speed dating and a performance of First Date at ALT. Speed dating is from 6:30 to 7:45. You get 1 ticket to the 8:00 p.m. performance of First Date the Musical on Saturday, February 15th. 1 drink token for a soft drink or specialty cocktail or wine if you're 21 and over. Again, this is open to 18 and over, but any of the alcohol is just for 21 and over, obviously. All of this is only $60. So you can get your tickets now to this exciting speed dating event. You're going to want to get in early, because again, we only have room for 20 men and 20 women. And it's going to be such a great show to see. It's not like a heavy, show that would be awkward to see with someone else. I have heard amazing things. It's a comedy. It's such talented actors. Some of ALT's finest musical theater performers are in this show. So consider it. And it could be really, really fun. So yeah, get in on that. It's going to be really, really cool. And let's keep it going with our volunteer of the week. Okay, congratulations to Treva Aller. Treva is pictured here from her riveting performance in ALT's production of Mothers and Sons at the Adventure Space back in 2015. Now, I know 2015 was 10 years ago, but she's done many shows since then, and I understand that, but I just love this picture of Treva, so that's the picture that I picked because I really, really like it. Treva is our costume coordinator for Dial M for Murder and is just all around a beautiful and positive energy around the theater. You know her, you love her. If you don't know her, you should. She's absolutely wonderful. Treva, we love you, and we are so, so grateful for you. Congratulations on being our volunteer of the week and doing such a great job with the costumes for Dial In for Murder. We're so, so grateful for you. I know I speak for a lot of people when I say that. And let's keep it going with some breaking Broadway news. Okay, this isn't really Broadway news, but of course, Oscar nominations went out today. So if you haven't looked those up, you should. There's lots of great choices. There's some snubs too, which is so sad. But anyway, Oscar nominations, very, very exciting. And Wicked on Broadway, this is also very exciting, is welcoming 2 new stars this spring. I cannot pronounce her. I think it's Lencia Cabede. I might be wrong on that, but I'm so sorry to her. Will make history as the first Black actress to assume the role of Elphaba full-time in the Broadway company, with Ali Trim taking over as Glinda. How could this be the first time that a Black actress has played Elphaba full-time on Broadway? How is that possible? Oh my gosh. But so, so exciting for them. So, so glad for them. And Trisha Paytas' Broadway debut just got even more star-studded. Sutton Foster, Rachel Ziegler, Joy Woods, and Ben Platt have signed on to join the cast of Trisha Paytas' Big Broadway Dream. So, so exciting for all of them. That is a very star-studded cast. Oh my gosh, that's going to be such a fantastic show. And enough of all of that. Let's get to the main event. I always love chatting with her, and we love her around here at ALT. Please welcome my special guest and director of Dial In for Murder, Terri Wilson. Hi, my friend Terri.
Who are you talking about?
It is so good to chat with you. I always love chatting with you because you always keep it real and you always have so much to say, and you know what you're talking about when it comes to theater. So I love chatting with you. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm all right.
Good. Terri, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you found ALT?
So I got into theater when I was 15, my sophomore year of high school. And at the end of that year, we did some really dorky half-hour high school kids play. And by the time I got to my first joke and everybody laughed at it, at that point, there was an epiphany and the clouds opened up and time stopped. And yeah, literally all of that happened in a millisecond on stage. And I was like, oh, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. So I have a BFA in theater from Eastern New Mexico University. I have an MFA in theater arts from Texas Tech University. And of course, I've basically done no professional theater or got hired as a professor anywhere. The way it goes. Spent 27 years as a librarian and just recently retired. I actually, not a lot of people know this, I actually discovered Amarillo Little Theater in Lubbock in 1999.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Back then, the Amarillo Little Theater used to compete in the regional community theater things, and I don't know what the specific levels are, but they had brought their production of Sylvia to Lubbock because it was at the Lubbock Theater was hosting whichever level of regional it was. And I saw that. And when I moved up here in 2003, I just remembered that I need to find this theater and start going to shows because it was a really, brilliant production. So yeah, that's how I actually discovered it a long way around.
I did not know that. That is so cool. And this is one of the reasons why I love a community theater, is because you were talking about having all this pedigree, and then you were a librarian, but you have all of this knowledge and education around theater. And now you have these opportunities to be able to showcase that talent and to be able to share your expertise with people who are discovering acting for the first time. Some of them, not in this show's case with this cast, but being able to express those talents and, benefit the theater, benefit the audiences that come see our shows. And so that's one of the greatest reasons why I love ALT. And I'm so glad that you found us for a lot of reasons.
And I want to say also, not every community theater is like that.
Right. And I don't know that people around here really understand that. I feel like
Yes.
sometimes ALT can be taken for granted because of
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
Because when the majority of people around, not around here, but the majority of people, I feel like when they hear community theater, it is not a great
Yes.
connotation
Yes. They
for good
think
reason.
Waiting for Guffman, the wonderful
Exactly.
mockumentary film.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually and it's true that the people that you see on stage are real estate brokers and lawyers and all that stuff, but the talent level here, I don't know why it's here, but it's here.
Yeah.
Um, that's not common
Right.
for a community theater. It's common
Right. And
theater, but not for small town theater.
exactly, and you would think that when someone is doing it as a hobby, that it's like the commitment level is kind
Mhm.
of, at 40, 50%, and that is not the case around here.
No, no. Even from
Actually,
people
quite
who,
the opposite.
yeah, from
Maybe
people who
taking
don't even
ourselves too
want to do it
seriously.
full time. Yeah, exactly. Lighten up.
Yeah. What was your first show to direct for us?
First was Calendar Girls,
Calendar Girls.
so
Oh, and
2021.
that was incredibly well received. Our audiences freaking loved that show for good reason. Again, for good reason. So you directed Calendar Girls and then
Significant Other, then Chemical Imbalance, and now Dial M.
man, and then you said you've acted in 4 shows, and what were
Yes.
those?
Those were Sordid Lives, for which
Yeah.
I am still remembered. People still look at me and are like, "You're Juanita," and I'm like, I really don't know how I feel about people recognizing me as Juanita. But Sordid Lives, and then Becky's New Car, then Death Trap, and then Clue.
Okay. Okay. So great. Um, man, you've in such like I'm thinking about you've acted in 4 shows, and we were talking about this a little bit earlier. You've acted in 4 shows and directed 4 shows, and for me, it feels like so much more than that. I don't know why. It's just in my mind, it was just like this scroll of things that you've
Yeah.
done for us. It's wild.
No, no. I
Um,
just I just watch. I just come and watch. That's all.
do you have a favorite show that you've directed? Can you pick one?
No, no,
Yeah,
I
I
can't.
figured you'd say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I think most people will always say the one you're working on now. But
Yeah.
there's good and bad from each show. I mean, I could probably say, well, I like the cast on show number whatever better
Yeah.
than, but I'm not going to say that. I still see these people.
Yeah.
um, but I mean, some shows are easier, some shows are harder. Some shows come together really well, some don't. Ever since COVID, it's been
Yeah.
really hard to just get a nice rhythm of rehearsals and
Of
shows without
course.
someone getting sick or any number of things happening. So
Right. Right. Exactly. Kaylee Youngblood says, "Woohoo, Terry!"
hi, Kaylee. I was just talking to her on the phone.
Oh, I'm glad you're watching, Kaylee. Thank you so much for watching. And Emma Albright says, "I'm excited to see Dial M for Murder tomorrow. So glad you're coming to see it, Emma. So glad
Yay.
for that." Okay, so do you have a preference, Terry? And maybe this is something else you can't choose because you like them for different reasons, but do you have a preference of directing or acting?
Um, I mean, acting is always my first love, and
Mhm.
early on when I was getting nowhere with it, I said, even if I never act again, I will always be an actor.
Right.
There's nothing that I can do to change that. That's
Right.
always there. Um, it's getting hard for me in my menopause brain to remember stuff, and I
Yeah.
don't like. I've never had stage fright before.
Mhm.
I mean, I've been excited, I've been wired up, but I don't like that scared feeling of blanking out on stuff, and
Yeah.
it's harder for me to get involved in that. I mean, I'd have to find the exact perfect role that's really small,
Yeah.
that I could pop. The Juanitas in Sorted Lives don't come up very often, and that's really what I need now.
That was a
Make a big
shooting
splash,
star
everybody
role.
remembers me, and then come off.
Yeah.
Um, so it's harder. It's easier as a director for me, but it is a lot more time consuming because you
Right.
have to be everything for everyone all the time.
Mhm.
Um, But a lot of people are always asking, especially when, once the show goes up, like, are you nervous? And I'm like, I'm not on stage. What?
Right.
I mean, I'll feel bad for them if they miss their lines or cues, but I'm not actually physically nervous because I'm
Right.
just not up there.
Yeah.
So there is that bit where you're not you're not having to be so emotionally invested in the actual doing of the show.
Exactly.
You're just trying to guide people to the best person, best actor they can be in that moment.
I'm glad you brought that up because your cast has chatted with me a little bit about your style of directing and raved about how much freedom you give your actors, just kind of letting them play in the space without being super rigid about blocking when you're initially getting a scene going. Has that always been your style? And what benefits do you see from that choice in your directing style?
Yeah, it has always been my style. It does depend on how many people you have in a show. Now, the reason why this show people are talking about it so much is because I was able to do that. There was only 5 people in the show, and generally only 3 people in one scene at a
Right.
time at the max. It's harder to do with shows that are 11 and 12 and above
Oh, yeah.
because you're just trying to wrangle people into the right place. Um, it's even harder to do if there's things that you have to do. Like Chemical Imbalance last year was physical comedy. It was fight scenes. You can't just let people wander around willy nilly with weapons.
Yeah.
It's just not good. Um, and you just there is so much. If you do the physical comedy, you have to be able to mark it and know exactly. I'm doing this slap, this turn. It just you can't just let it go.
Of course.
Big, and then of course the bigger you get, musicals and stuff like that. Excuse me, it's impossible.
Right.
But yeah, if I have a small group, I do like to let them create. It's more it's more organic when they can
Yeah.
find how that person walks and talks on their own without me saying, now stand, now sit down, now
Hmm.
go over here, go over there. And yeah, I have always directed that particular way. There was I can't think of his name, but he was the first dean of Yale School of Theater,
Hmm.
and he referred to that way of acting as basically just creating the space for the actors to be able to do their art, to find what they need to find, and mostly just try to stay out of their way. And that's really what I'm trying to do, is to create a welcoming space, a safe space, because you have to be able to fail too. And if you're
Right.
embarrassed about failing in front of other people, or if you've created a space that is not welcoming and supportive, you're not going to get the actors aren't going to feel like taking chances. So
Right.
that's really, yeah, that's I create the space and then I let them go. So
Well, they were big fans of that, understandably so. Talk to us about this new adaptation of Dial M for Murder and how it differentiates from the original, because we've had some patrons out here thinking we're going rogue and rewriting the script for our own enjoyment. I
yeah,
cannot express how illegal that is. Like
yeah.
we are not just going over here like we'd rather have an agenda with this. So
and
talk to us about that.
yeah, exactly. And even though there are dead playwrights, that doesn't mean there's not a foundation or a trust that has
Yeah.
control of those licensing rights.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, in 2022, or maybe before that, the Old Globe Theater in San Diego reached out to Jeffrey Hatcher, who I guess I looked him up, and I guess he's got a reputation of adapting plays. I mean,
Oh, okay.
he's incredibly prolific. I'm on Wikipedia, scrolling. I'm like, how
Yeah.
much has he written? But he has adapted a lot. And so anyway, the Old Globe asked him to adapt um, Dial M for Murder with 2 caveats. One was to make Margot, the wife in this, whose husband is trying to put together a plan to murder her, to make her central and active. Because if you watch anything from the old script, everything is happening to Margot. So
Mm,
everything that she's like, oh, I don't understand what's happening. Who are you? Where? Yeah, she's doing nothing. She literally does nothing to
Yeah.
protect herself, to help herself. And it's very, very passive. It's very, the main two, like 3 actors are before her when it comes to looking at the list of stars in there. So they wanted Margot to be active and taking an active part in the production.
Yeah.
And the second part was to turn her ex-lover, Max Halliday, into Maxine Halliday, so that for 2 women. And that was, I think, just making it 2 women automatically makes Margot more important and bringing her to the front, because she has so much that she can do at that point.
Right.
So they did that, and it was a big hit. And for a while there, I think it might still be in the top 10, but for a while there, it was like the #1 production of community theaters in the country. Like 2023, I think it was #1, and it's still in the top 5 or top 10. Everyone loves it, and for a good reason. I mean, I've read both. In fact, because I had access to an original script from the original production, I actually read them side by side at one point to see what changed and where.
Yeah.
Not a lot changes, but a bunch of stuff changes. So my favorite thing to say is that in the original script, when Margot is blackmailed, the letter she gets wants 50 pounds sent in small bills.
Oh, intense.
I was like, did we forget some zeros? What, 50?
Oh my gosh. Know your worth, Margot. Know your worth.
Exactly. What is that?
Oh my gosh.
But that's my favorite one. But there were a lot of things that changed, and hence changed some of the way the characters react to each other. For instance, in the original script, Tony Windus was a tennis pro, and he retires and says that he's going to support his wife. And part of that, I think, is probably for the reason that Frederick Knott, the original writer, the original playwright, was himself a tennis pro, almost like Olympic. He was like probably going to go to the Olympics.
Oh, okay.
But World War II broke out, and he joined the army and came back, and he was too old by then, so he couldn't go.
World War II, that's a little snafu.
World War II, it always interrupts things. So that's probably why he was a tennis pro. In this adaptation, they make Tony a writer, an author, but just not a successful one. And with Max, the ex-lover, being a successful writer, that now puts another level of jealousy for Tony to have.
Sure. Yeah.
And in the original, the lover and Margot knew each other before. They had known each other from college. In this production, Tony introduces them again, another level of anger and jealousy that he can play because of all of these little things that get changed.
Absolutely. There's so many layers there that just kind of raise the stakes for the whole plot. I love that.
Right.
Talk to us about well, I want to chat with you a little bit about your interior design. Because you played a big part, a huge part actually, in decorating this beautiful set. I have photos that I stole from your Instagram. Everyone, I'm sorry to give it away before you walk into the theater, but look at this stunning set. I can't wait for everyone to see it in person when you walk in.
Yeah,
it is just so beautiful. The lighting, the built-ins, it's just so beautiful. Can you talk to me a little bit about some of your inspiration there?
So I don't know. I think Jason showed me a picture, and then he may have showed Noah, but I don't know how Noah and I got on this set of painting the set blue. But I think we both saw the same picture of, and I don't even know if it was a set that was a Dial M or was something else entirely. And as I was telling you earlier, I'm a total interior decoration nerd. I don't have the money to actually do it myself.
Yeah.
But I'm like always following those things. And
again, it's your community theater, and now you can express yourself. Yeah, I love it.
I want to
use those talents here. We'll love it. We'll take it.
And one of the things, I guess back in the 90s, there used to be the accent wall where everything's white, but in a room, except for one
Yeah.
wall, is
Yeah.
a solid, is different color.
Right.
And now there's a saturation thing going on where
Yeah.
everything, including the baseboard and everything else, all
Right.
the framing is the same color. And
Yeah.
I saw that picture and what Noah was talking about turning it blue. It just all the walls and stuff being blue. I was like, that's exactly what we're doing now. I mean, that's that saturation thing. The other thing
Yeah.
was, I told Noah right off the bat, even before he was finished with Christmas Story, I'm like, I know it's early. I just want to send you some pictures. I'm not pushing.
In your ear.
No rush, no rush.
Yeah.
But my main thing that popped in my head that made me want to push through with the show was, I thought film noir. If I could, if this was a film, I would have done it in black and white.
Yeah.
And the monochrome look of so much blue, certain even the different little pieces around there are blue.
Right.
That monochrome look gives it almost that black and white effect.
Yeah.
Because what I wanted was, no golds and silvers and metals and things sticking out, but just having that sort of background that then we could then add light to and have those sharp shadows that you get when you watch film noir, stuff like Casablanca and The Third Man and things like that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be able to do that on stage, and this was the idea. Once it came to fruition, this is what it ended up being like. Taking it a step further, what I also wanted to do was put all the men in blacks and browns and navies and stuff like that, and having the only color in costuming on the women.
Yes.
So that they're
a
the
huge
ones,
standout.
Yeah, that
For
stand
sure.
out. There's a few things here and there that the guys have as color. Tony has, I won't say where it is, but you'll see it. Tony has some green on him for greed and jealousy. Very small, but
I love little touches like that. I think that it adds so much. I love it so much. Can you talk to us a little bit about the cast from your perspective?
So as you know, we had very few people show up for our auditions.
Yeah.
And half of them were the wrong age. So it was a very, I mean, after the first night, the second night, I was like, I don't know if I can cast this.
Yeah.
We don't have anybody showing up. So it was pretty small. It was a pretty small pool to pull from. But I think that the combination, and I could have switched the roles easily anywhere around. And that, I mean, Tony, Michael could have been Hubbard, and Jacob could have been Tony, and and Marley and Jerry could have completely switched roles. But there's always something for me about, there's some spark of a character inside an actor that I usually see in auditions, and I go, well, I can't switch Marley and Jerry because they each have that one thing that I'm looking for. And I don't even know what I'm looking for, but I mean, they have something that makes you say Jerry has to be Margot, Marley has to be Maxine. And sometimes it's something that you can really put your finger on, and other times it's not. It's just, there's something about auditions that you can see whatever it is. I'll say back in chemical imbalance auditions, and they were crazy. I mean, there was just a bunch of people acting totally insane, which is great. That's what I was looking for. But the time that Zach Ohm and Michael Newman read the parts that I cast them in, I think everyone in the room knew it. I mean, it was one of those things where a spark went off.
That happens.
And then everyone in auditions, everyone always applauds at the end of every scene because everyone's very supportive in auditions. But that particular scene was kind of like, I mean, it was like everyone was just like, that's it.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
And it was early on in the first day of audition, so it was kind of like, oh, that's sort of disappointing
Kind of
for
anticlimactic
actors,
there, but
because they're like, I can't get it. I can't have that thing
yeah.
that they had. But yeah, so that like I said, I could have gone a bunch of different ways with it, but really this combination I think worked. Um, some people are working harder at some roles that I might have put them in a place that they were like, that's not what I normally do.
Yeah.
But I can see it. I mean, that's one of those things. I can see them do it, and that's what I hope to. That's sort of like the thing I want to do as a director, is to be able to help actors get to a place that they didn't think that they could get to before.
Absolutely. And it's good to be pushed and challenged.
Yeah, yeah.
Always, always. Terry, why would you say the arts are important?
Um, I know a lot of people are just like, we need math, we need we need science, we need a bunch of
Mhm.
things like that. But really, the without the arts, without that creativity thing, you're missing out on so much. I mean, business is all about innovation. How do you
Mhm.
have innovation without having the ability to, quote, think outside the box, without making up the having the creativity to look at something and figuring out how to build a better mousetrap?
Right.
How do you have science without curiosity? Um, I think that's I think creativity and artistic sensibilities are at the base of everything. I mean, every
Mhm.
human being is creative, but maybe you call your creativity cooking, and maybe I call my creativity flower arranging, but it's
Mhm.
still there. And I think like little community theaters like this is what helps people find that for themselves,
Right.
whether it's on stage or backstage or in the audience. You can find your niche for
Mhm.
the creativity that's inside of you.
Exactly, in a community of people who can
Mhm.
rally around you, finding your niche and, interested in a lot of the same things.
Yeah,
I feel like anymore, we're pretty isolated.
yeah,
Um, uh, and, having a community theater like this, having academy classes, having shows you can audition for or work backstage on or usher in concessions and, or
yeah,
whatever, just being surrounded by people who enjoy some of the same things that you enjoy, and so important anymore, I
yeah,
feel like.
yeah.
Um,
And
uh,
so is play. Um, you know,
yes.
we're forgetting that for kids. I feel bad for them
Mhm,
because there's everything has to be they're being tested all the time, and they're constantly, even in preschool, they're being forced into, let's do these ABCs, and let's get these numbers, and let's get all of this stuff. It's like, well, yeah, but also let them play. uh,
yes. Well, I feel
or
like kids grow up a lot faster when they don't have that,
yeah,
and not in a good way.
yes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, and just like, and that need doesn't end just with children. I mean, adults need play as well.
Mhm.
You got to keep your mind active.
That's so true. Gosh, that's so true. Terry, anything else you want our audiences to know before they come and see the final weekend of Dial In for Murder?
It's okay to go ooh ah out loud. We love that. We love
Yes.
people. We love people who gasp in shock when someone is doing something particularly evil.
Yeah.
We love to hear that from audiences.
It reminds
Um,
us you're right here.
yeah, exactly. And
Good.
there are places. There's a lot of real dry wit in here. I
Mhm.
notice sometimes audiences are slow to laugh out loud because they're like, "Oh, this is a murder. we can't
Yeah,
we can't
right.
laugh." And I'm like, "No, there's some good places in there that are kind of fun." So, yeah, don't if you have preconceptions, just put them on hold for a while and just
Yeah.
come see a production you probably haven't seen, or even if you have seen productions of it before. These guys are great. They're just phenomenal actors who really breathe so much life into all of these characters, and life differently than you've seen it in other
Right.
productions, because they're different actors. So
Exactly. It's a great production. It's such a solid production with solid acting and direction and costumes and the set, and it's just a completely enjoyable experience. I
Yeah.
encourage everyone to get tickets. We were talking just a little bit ago. Thursday and Saturday are looking the best for your
Mhm.
options tonight and Saturday night. Again, tonight is at 7:30, not at 8 o'clock. Remember that. Don't want you to show up and
Yeah.
miss half of the first act. Um, Friday and Sunday are pretty full,
Yeah.
bordering
Yeah.
on sold out. So if you're
Yeah.
going to come, consider coming tonight or Saturday night. I think would be your best option for the best possible seats.
I think so.
Um, Guys, that is it for me for Thursdays at 3 today. I really want to thank my special guest, Terri Wilson, for joining me today. And also, just selfishly, I love chatting with you. It's one of my favorite things, especially
Yours.
about this subject, because you know what you're talking about. I love having chats with you about theater and directing and art and all of that. It's always so enjoyable.
You're an audience of one.
That is definitely not true. Raquel, come tell her what I'm talking about. Guys, get your tickets for Dial M. And for First Date, if you're a member, those tickets for First Date will go on sale to the public on Monday at 10 a.m. You can also sign up. Well, no, don't sign up for ushering and concessions. I did not change that in my notes here because we're all full on that. Thank you guys for filling those spots.
Yay.
But come see the final weekend of Dial In for Murder. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, you will not regret it. Again, thank you, Terri, and have a fantastic final weekend of performances. I'm
Thank
proud
you.
to know you and really glad you're a part of ALT.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And you guys have a fantastic weekend, and we will see you on Monday for ALT in 3. Bye.
Bye.